Hello, this is Craig Camp, and welcome to Troon Talk, where we dig deeply into Demeter biodynamic and regenerative organic certified wine growing and farming at Troon Vineyard in Oregon's Applegate Valley. This is meant to be a podcast for those that aspire to, as the Regenerative Organic Alliance says, farm like the world depends on it. These interviews will be focused on our work here at Troon Vineyard, but will also include the work of other farmers committed to regenerative agriculture. And now for today's interview. So we are here with our farm team today discussing the upcoming season and I think some exciting opportunities coming at Troon now and in the future. So with us today are Jennifer and Garett, and could you please introduce yourselves?
Hi, thanks Craig. I'm Jennifer Teisl. I'm a farmer and the garden manager here at Troon.
And I'm Garett Long, Troon's Director of Agriculture.
So we're at the 7-year point in a very complex project that has grown each year, and the farm project has now really become a significant part of the farm. Obviously the vineyard was in place, and we've been making wine for a long time, but it was important for us to become a complete farm, and to do that we've added herbs and a food forest and apples, and it's very complex now, and of course that means there's a lot of work to do. So we have now included a intern program in our project, and it's hard to learn biodynamics. It's hard. There's not many places to go. So we think this is a unique opportunity for anyone that really wants to dig in deeply, as we say in our podcast, to biodynamics and regenerative organic agriculture. So Garett, could you tell us a little bit more about the program?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited about introducing this farm internship program and what it's going to bring to Troon, as well as what educational opportunities are going to be available to the folks that choose to join us this season. The nature of this internship is going to be really dynamic. Every day is going to be unique. Jennifer will describe the tasks that are going on in the garden, but this internship represents an opportunity to get involved with all aspects of the farm. We've got sheep and chickens that are rotationally grazing throughout the whole farm. One day you may be helping set up new electric fences and new paddocks and move the animals to their new sections. We've also got a cider apple orchard of almost 3 acres that the trees need training, and we just finished pruning on that, but we'll continue to develop the structure of these young fruit trees. We've got a whole native botanical garden on site. We continue to propagate more native plants and landscaping plants and attract wildlife into our farming system. Very excitingly, for our biodynamic program, we make 250 tons of finished biodynamic compost every year, as well as vermicompost and compost tea. And we make our own biodynamic preparations that we put into those compost piles and apply as ground sprays and sprays to the foliage. And so helping with all aspects of the prep making, the compost making, animals, orchards, landscape, and of course gardening is going to be a really dynamic part of this internship. So Jennifer, will you tell us a little bit about what you have needs for in the garden?
Sure, and let me just paint the picture of when we say the garden, what we're talking about. So it's about 3 acres of food production here. So part of that is our permaculture garden that we like to call the food forest. So we have stone fruit trees, cherries, nectarines, apricots, peaches. So it's really diverse. So that is something that is year-round that we work with. But really, hopefully, coming online in the summer, we'll have a ton of fruit that we'll be picking down there. And then we have our annual market garden. So that is really coming online now. We are already in the greenhouse, starting everything from seed. So it's a real opportunity to start from seed all the way through to harvest of all of these crops. So it does require a lot of work. We do a lot by hand. So we're doing bed prep, transplanting, trellising, working on irrigation, of course, weeding, pruning, thinning, deadheading, pest control. So all of these garden tasks are something that we would really like the interns to be involved with. Every day we are out there working on it. So we're really looking for somebody that enjoys that kind of work. It's very physical, but also very rewarding to be working in a biodynamic garden where we really value the diversity that we encourage to come into this farm.
Not to mention getting to snack on some tomatoes and cucumbers
Sure,
along
that's
the way.
definitely
right?
a bonus. Yeah, we're growing a lot of really fun crops this year. So we work with a local chef, Carl Kraus of Wilder Cooking. He actually was a part of planning our garden, and that's because we really are trying to integrate what we grow into the local food system. So this year we have a new program here at Troon. We're calling our Sunday Summer Market. So we're actually having a market here on site, close to the tasting room. So we'll have local growers, artisans. We'll be featuring all of our biodynamic produce and music too. So it's really a community day to participate in, and that's something for interns as well, to just be directly involved in our local food system. So it's a unique opportunity to be out in the field, helping to grow it, and then actually seeing somebody take it home, and then seeing a local chef prepare a dish with it. So it's really a full integration that I think is really valuable. I think we're really passionate about local food, and so actually doing it instead of reading about it or talking about it, it's a real opportunity to get involved with.
I've been really enjoying these Sunday suppers that Chef Carl has been preparing. He's got a food truck, and he also prepares these wonderful meals out of our commercial kitchen here at Troon. And he'll continue to prepare suppers, or this kind of lunchtime meals to be made available to folks who come out and join us for the market. And he's using almost 100% our ingredients from Troon.
Yeah, it's really exciting and rewarding for us to see that the produce is not leaving the property. So we have several ways that several outlets. Now we have our farm stand, which is open every day, and that started 2 years ago. So every day the tasting room is open, our farm stand is open. That's another part of that interns can really be involved in, is helping us harvest, bringing it to the farm stand, helping it look beautiful for all of the customers. So that's another, it's a lot of work to do all of that. So we really are looking for people who are excited about just seeing the produce get into the hands of people who care about what we're doing here. Garett, what are the ideal qualities you see for a candidate for this position?
Well, you were just talking about the passion. We're really looking for an extremely passionate early career farmer, someone who's interested in learning about biodynamics and regenerative farming principles, and really looking to gain foundational skills through practice. Jennifer mentioned how much work it is, how laborious the garden work is, but also how rewarding it is. I think we've thoroughly enjoyed, on a personal level, investing in this land, into soil health, into animal welfare, into building community, and the rewards are great. I think our ideal candidate is somebody who wants to come be a part of this food production system, who wants to be a part of this community in what is Oregon's Applegate Valley. Whereas your main focus and the most of your time will be focused in the garden and in that food forest garden, herb spiral area that Jennifer was mentioning earlier. You will be involved in every aspect of day-to-day management of the farm. And I think that's a really exciting opportunity for an early career farmer to learn these foundational skills. Have Jennifer and I as mentors, as well as the rest of the team. We've got immense experience, as well as consultants that we've got available to us to continue to teach you about these foundational skills, teach you about native plants, and then work alongside you sort of in the trenches, or in the furrows maybe is a better example, better metaphor. So you'll be... you'll be doing all of these exciting tasks. Basically.
Yeah, and I think it's important for us that we, as you mentioned, we're making all of the biodynamic preps on site. So it's a real opportunity. That's really the only way to learn them. You can read about it in a book, but you have to make the preps. You have to be a part of it, and we do it in community here. So that's an opportunity that's hard to find, and we value people who are interested to learn, to come alongside, and really just dig into it and sort of dispel the mystery of what biodynamic preps are and really just learn about it firsthand.
Yeah.
So Jennifer, you had your own market garden farm in New York. You sold in markets and to restaurants. And you have a WSET 3. What's been your path down that led you where you are today?
Yeah, I had a farm in the Hudson Valley in New York, and I was really passionate about heirloom tomatoes. So I would sell directly to restaurants in the city. So it was then that I started learning about biodynamics, and I was able to take some classes at the Pfeiffer Center. So not everybody lives in proximity to centers where you could learn about it. So that was really valuable for me to just start to understand what it means to farm biodynamically, philosophically, and just practically. And then I've always been passionate about wine. So I spent some time in the Hudson Valley wine industry there, and anybody who's a wine lover knows that biodynamic wines are usually the top quality wine. So those two things sort of came together for me to learn more about wine and just continuing to learn more about how to farm in this way that really heals the earth, and at the end of the day, the best quality product, our produce, our wine grapes, that's how you achieve that quality. So that's sort of come full circle to me here, being able to be at Troon, we can grow food, but we also have this vineyard here. So we're able to see biodynamics at work in all these different aspects on this farm.
And I know, Jennifer, something that you and I have talked about, the joys of living on site. When you had your own farm, you were there living on site, and I live here at Troon, and we do have housing available to these two about 6-month farm interns. I think there's a real joy that I've experienced just waking up on the farm, enjoying my coffee on the front porch as the sun rises, thinking about the day that I have ahead of me. Again, whether that's moving the animals that we do about once a week, or getting out into the orchards, harvesting vegetables to prepare it for, sale to the community. Every day is dynamic and exciting. Or, standing knee deep in cow manure, turning compost piles and getting our hands dirty. That's really an important part of it. But I think there's a real joy to wake up with the sun and to go to bed tired and feeling very accomplished at the end of the day.
So Garett, actually being an intern was what led you down this path. Maybe you could tell that story.
Yeah, sure. You're exactly right. It was 2012, and I signed up for a WOOF position, Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms, in Southern California. It was a place called Apricot Lane Farms that ended up being an extremely formative experience for me. I signed up for a 3-month volunteer position where I got room and board and education about organic and biodynamic farming from, again, a bunch of really wonderful mentors and farmers. And then I never left. Well, it took me about 7 years, basically, to leave. I had an opportunity to go to Davis and do my master's degree in soil science, and I came back to that farm and continued working on research and outreach and honing my skills with biodynamics and my understanding of biodynamics. And I was able to come to Troon in 2021 with I still consider myself a relative novice in terms of biodynamics and the depth that you can go, but I also feel like I have a lot to share. And it was, in reflection, thank you, Craig, in reflection, it really was that time at Apricot Lane in those first 3 months that hooked me and it was and made me realize that it was soil that was keeping me up at night, and that I wanted to study and go really deep. And now I geek out about microbes and compost and horn manure on a daily basis, and to be able to pass on that really formative experience that I had in my early career, to have this opportunity to now share these skills and this knowledge with the next generation of farmers. I'm really excited to do that.
Yeah, how would you describe that experience for you as a young person first coming into that, living a little bit communally and learning from everyone? And
so there's personal growth can happen through shared experiences that are really hard and also really enjoyable. And I think farming presents those opportunities. Farming is difficult, and every year is different. That's why we think about different vintages of wine. But there are new challenges, and there are successes and failures and hardships. and what it meant to be a part of a community. You know, we'd have anywhere from 4 to 7 woofers all sharing a house together.
What's a woofer?
A woofer is somebody who joins that Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms, this network of global host farms that we were all a part of. And during my time at Apricot Lane, I was hired on to be that volunteer coordinator and to eventually establish an apprenticeship program that would last for about 6 months. And I'm modeling our internship program somewhat around that apprenticeship program that allows you to really, rather than just kind of come and go freely, which is so often the case with these woofer positions where you're using host farms as a way of traveling and seeing the world, or maybe seeing different farming operations. This is really meant to be an intensive experience where you learn a lot and grow a lot. And I can say that the camaraderie of living with those other 7 folks in
I was
the
going to
house,
say, it's probably fun, too.
It's a lot
hard
of
work,
fun.
but fun.
Exactly. At the end of the day, I mean, here the benefit of working at a vineyard and a winery is to be able to clink glasses at the end of the day and enjoy the literal fruit of our labor in the case of wine. And it also meant a lot of shared meals. I still to this day really enjoy cooking and sharing meal times with friends and family and gathering community around the table. And I think this is a real opportunity, especially living on site, to be able to harvest food from the garden, take it up, prepare it in the shared kitchen, and share these meals over a glass of wine and talk about the day and really talk about also those things that we're passionate about and learning about and being challenged by.
Yeah, so Jennifer, you've been a part of this early process. Last year was really the first year we did any kind of even small level commercial production of food, and you were the person out there talking to restaurants and chefs and everything. What is that to you as a person to bring biodynamic foods to the community?
Yeah, it's rewarding for sure, and it's also an opportunity to educate chefs and produce managers and markets about what we're doing here. And I find people are very interested, and when you talk about how we farm, there's a lot of excitement over, having our produce featured on menus in local restaurants. So we do work with some restaurants in Ashland, organic markets in Medford. So those are the local towns in our area and proximity. So yeah, it's exciting to me when I go into the market and I see our green zebra tomatoes being profiled. And there was actually a day where a customer was so upset that they didn't have our tomatoes, and the produce manager called me on the phone, and I said, I'll get them to you tomorrow. So knowing that people in our community are excited, interested, finding our food delicious, it's very rewarding. And knowing that, being out there doing the hard work, that seeing it have an impact on people's lives in terms of them enjoying healthy food that's been grown in a way with farming that we can go to sleep at night knowing we're replenishing the soil. Yeah. We're farming in a way that we believe in, that's good for the earth. It's all very rewarding.
And I think this is a mentality and ideology, a set of values that a lot of people in this area, and especially in the Applegate Valley, all share. This is the most agrarian community I've ever lived in. We've got probably one of the top 5 farmers markets in the whole nation in our Grants Pass growers markets every Saturday year-round. We've also got farmers markets in Medford and Ashland, and as well as an evening market every Wednesday through the summer in the Applegate Valley. This is a gathering that we hope to emulate in a way on our Sunday markets to get people out here, entice them with music, fresh produce. We'll have artisans and craftspeople working at, setting up booths out here. And this community is really special because it's people who care about good organic food. There's more than 50 years of history of growing organic vegetables, herbs, livestock, dairies. The Applegate Valley is very diverse, whereas there are a lot of wineries. There's also every other kind of food production system here, and it's largely organic, and it's largely small farmers that are less than 10 acres. So we're very fortunate to be surrounded by a bunch of people who are very passionate about this and engaged in growing good food, and it makes for this really joyful exchange of ideas, as well as sets up it is the context for a lot of really wonderful things outside of food and agriculture too, like hiking, the wild and scenic Rogue River that you can, float tubes down every summer. There's an immense number of lakes and rivers, including the Applegate River. And something I personally love to go to is to check out the local music scene. There's a wonderful summer concert series hosted at the Brit Festival, as well as vineyards that host free summer concert series too. And so that's something I've enjoyed working with our harvest interns, the folks who come to join us for wine harvest season, and going out to these fun concerts and cultural events here. The community of Southern Oregon really, really values arts and culture and good food and community.
Yeah, so you both come to this area from other places, Hudson Valley, Washington, via California, and then there. What's it like to live in the Applegate when you come from somewhere else?
I mean, I find it to be, I've lived in rural areas, and it is quite unique. I think the proximity to get to a town, 25, 30 minutes, that's rare in a rural area. I mean, we're surrounded by the Siskiyou Mountains, and in terms of nature and access to some untouched areas, it's pretty unusual to be able to easily access that. So I found that pretty incredible to just be able to, you could take a 10, 15 minute drive from here and you could be hiking deep in the woods.
Yeah.
And so the proximity too, that's the cool thing about Southern Oregon, is that you have access to all of these other surrounding areas with, if you're a nature lover, I mean, it's endless. The little day trips, weekend trips that you could take. Crater Lake is a short drive away. The Oregon coast is a couple hours away. So it really offers a lot compared to other areas I've lived in where, you could be driving hours to try to get to some, special, unique place. But here, everything's really accessible.
I've really enjoyed the weather. As Craig said, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest near Seattle, and I spent almost 10 years in California where, at least where I was, there was a pretty distinct lack of seasons. I love the seasonality of this place, coming out of wintertime right now and going into the springtime where our daffodils are blooming, the plants are waking up, all these perennials are breaking dormancy. I love the weather here. In fact, there's a sign over, as you're driving down one of the main streets in Grants Pass, there's a sign that says, "It's the climate." It's the city slogan. And really, the climate is quite wonderful here, and it really facilitates, especially in the summertime, the community comes alive. And whether you're into backpacking or hiking and these multi-day trails, or just a day trip out to the coast or out to Crater Lake National Park, or to Applegate Lake, or any of these other amazing outdoor opportunities, the world's your oyster. Southern Oregon really presents these amazing outdoor experiences, as well as, like I said, cultural experiences too.
So Jennifer, our interns will be working directly for you on a day-to-day basis. What do you think a week might look like for our interns?
Yeah, we can paint a picture of a typical week when the garden is, right now, like I said, we're in the greenhouse, starting all of our seeds. But once we will be, and then over the next couple months, we'll be planting everything directly into the garden. So there's that every week there's going to be the maintenance, weeding, trellising, and then finally when it's harvest time, once we're in full height of the season, we usually do all of our maintenance, and then as we head towards the end of the week, Thursday, Friday, we're harvesting. We're getting ready to stock the farm stand, to get ready for the market. We might be delivering produce to some of our local sales channels. So that's kind of the rhythm of it on a weekly basis.
And I think, talking about the climate, we do get pretty warm days here in the summer. It's not to be overlooked that we can easily have over 100 degree days, 110 degrees occasionally. So we really try to get out there early morning when it's still cool and do a lot of that work before the sun gets overhead. And then in the afternoons or on these really hot days, we try to shift to indoor work, or work like processing the vegetables, or maybe the garlic that we're going to be harvesting in July that has been hung up to cure. We need to process that and clean it and prepare it for sale. And the same could be said for so many of these vegetables. One of the families of vegetables that grow so well here are alliums, like onions and shallots and leeks and garlic, just thrive in our garden and in this valley. And so inevitably there's indoor work where you can beat the heat, get out of the shade, or get into the shade, and then again help prepare some of this food for the market.
So what would each of you want these interns to walk away with at the end of the season?
I think I would hope to be able to shepherd the interns' passions and questions and interests in a way that would best serve their education. I refer to these mentors that I had at Apricot Lane Farms, a mentor in garden and orchard management, which is Andrew Beatty. He's our current biodynamic consultant here, in biodynamic prep making, and then in overall just farm and systems design and holistic management. And I think whatever your interest may be, whether it's more centered on learning the skills of annual vegetable production and market gardening, whether it's an interest in working with animals or compost or learning about biodynamics and the preps and this view of anthroposophy, there are numerous educational opportunities. So I would hope to learn about your interests and your passions as a farm intern and help shepherd and guide these experiences towards a fulfilling experience. At the end of about 6 months here, I hope that you would feel confident to be able to move on to take the next step in your career journey and get a job with another farm and continue to develop your own skills and your passion in a way that, I've worked now in biodynamic agriculture for more than a decade, and my interests and path has shifted over the years. And I feel really fortunate to be at a farm that is diverse as Troon is, but has this winery and vineyard component, because that means that we have guests from the community and from all over the world, frankly, coming out to visit our tasting room, and that ability to interact with them and share knowledge and ideas is really exciting to me. What would you look for, Jennifer?
I would say for an intern to spend 6 months with us, I think it would be wonderful to walk away with an understanding of why we take all of this effort to farm this way, to be certified through Demeter, through ROC, through CCOF. I mean, why are we taking all of this time and effort to do those things? Because it's a choice to do that. So I would hope that through the experience of farming with us, that they would gain an understanding and appreciation and what it takes to meet that criteria and to have that accountability to farm regeneratively and biodynamically. So, and I think that it takes that amount of time to really appreciate what goes into it. Making our compost, making the preps, the effort and the intellectual effort too, to make sure that we are living up to the standards that we hold ourselves to.
I think the intellectual effort, that's a really interesting statement. What do you mean by that?
I think because there's the doing, right? That we're out there, we're sweating, we're doing, but in my mind, I'm always thinking about the purpose of it. Why are we doing this? What's the philosophy of this farming? And that, I think that takes us intellectually stopping and thinking it through. Why are we making our own compost? What's the benefit of that? So for me, it's spiritual, right? We have that part of it, but we also have to have the mental discipline, and really there's a lot of paperwork that comes with it too, that to do this. And so it's mind, body, spirit engagement. So for me, that's what makes it so different and unique, and hopefully valuable for people who want to tap into the way that we choose to work with the land.
So we recently just completed our solar barn here. Could you describe that and why that will be important for the interns?
Absolutely. We've got a now 7,000 square foot barn that is our base of agricultural operations. We've got our farm office there. It's where we can house our equipment in the wintertime to get it out of the weather. But very importantly, we are now centralizing what has been spread out throughout the farm in one location. So we'll be able to share meals with the full-time staff and the interns in a big common area with a shared kitchen. And it's important for the interns because we also have housing available here. And so in your own personal bedroom, you will have access to the shared kitchen. We've got 2 full bathrooms with showers, all the things you need to be able to prepare meals and live quite large, actually. Fridge, freezer, ice maker, all of that sort of basic stuff. And then something I'm really excited about is a big sort of harvest table that is designed to seat 10 people around and have these sort of communal meals and create that context for shared ideas and shared experience. So it's the place that everybody shows up bright and early in the morning, coffee in hand or tea or whatever you do, maybe none of that caffeine, and to show up, gather together, set some intentions, set some plans for the day, take off on the electric vehicles that we have parked in the barn that are our main transportation around the farm, and go get after it. I think this solar barn, not to mention the fact that it's got 153 kilowatt hour solar array on the top and has taken our entire operation. More than 100% of our annual electrical needs here on the farm are covered by solar power now. And so it's a state-of-the-art building and opportunity to engage and learn about farming in a really unique way.
So Jennifer, you're working very hard on producing some new products for us here at Troon, vinegar and herbs and herb teas. Could you tell us about that project a little bit?
Oh, sure. Yeah, the vinegar started in the winter. So it is fermenting away in our vinegar room, and that we're utilizing our wine here, so it will be a red wine vinegar. We've been able to develop our own mother, so we're using this is slow vinegar. We're using the Orleans method, and it will be barrel aged, so that should be rolling out hopefully this summer. And then we're also we didn't talk about the herb spiral garden, but that is part of our food production, so we're growing quite a lot of herbs there, and what we're trying to do is have these dried herbs become available as one of our value-added products. Yeah. So that would be something also to get involved with for interns. Drying herbs, processing, packaging. These will be certified biodynamic herbs. So it's exciting to be a part of that too, to develop these products coming directly from the garden. So yeah, it's another project that we can work on this season.
I think as Craig was saying, we've been farming and establishing this biodiverse, operation for the last 7 years, and we have planted tons of different botanicals, edible, medicinal, flowers, herbs throughout the farm. The native garden, our biodynamic education garden, we've got hedgerows planted, we've got, edible crops in the vineyard cover crop, not to mention our vegetable garden, food forest, all of that. There's tiers of canopy that are just catching every little bit of sunlight and turning that into edible and medicinal foods. And so, yeah, the goal of these value-added products is to take advantage of this bounty of diversity and of botanicals that we've established here in the last 7 years, both in that intentionally planted herb garden as well as just the abundance that is here on this 100-acre property.
Yeah, speaking of diversity, you've got a very complex chart up on our whiteboard right now for your garden planning this year. Could you talk about that a little bit?
It started by hand on a whiteboard, and it was scribbles, and it was ideas, and it was incorporated Chef Carl's ideas, and that other chef at that other restaurant.
It was working in real time.
And we've since gotten more organized.
Right, it is now all in electronically documented, in Tend. So
we use a really cool farm management software called Tend that we've invested in, both as a way of record keeping as well as communicating those tasks and those projects in the vegetable garden on a day-to-day basis. But it's really exciting because I think over the last couple of years, we've sort of done this breathing of really high diversity, but not a lot of volume of them. And then last year, we really grew not a ton of different crops, but larger volumes. And I think this year we've really found that middle ground in that Goldilocks zone where we're being able to produce, again, a pretty good diversity, but larger quantities that are that are interesting to chefs and restaurants and available to the farmers at a farmer's market as well.
What are some of the highlights?
Let's see. Well, I mean, cucumbers do really well here, so in our climate. So we have our Boston pickler, which will then end up being Troon pickles, which we sell out of pretty much every season. So those are popular. And then we're trying an Armenian cucumber this year, which should be really fun. Just something a little bit different. Lots of tomatoes, of course. We've got a rainbow of colors of heirloom tomatoes. We're also excited about peppers this year. Chef Carl he was definitely pushing us for more spice out there. So we've got cayenne. We're doing a paprika sweet pepper, habanada pepper, which is a fun one we've never grown before. So we're really trying to have some unique, different, lots of color out there to work with, so that for plating, it's really going to be just a beautiful presentation and delicious.
I mentioned all of those alliums earlier that just do so well. Our garlic is so flavorful and pungent. I really enjoy that. Going to college in Walla Walla, I'm of course a little bit biased towards our Walla Walla sweet onions that I think are exceptional. But I'm also really excited to grow some new varieties of winter squash. There's a really great seed breeder and seed company called Row 7 Seeds out of New York that has bred specific variety. All of their vegetables are bred for flavor as opposed to the usual breeding practices of shelf stability and appearance and all of that. And of course, they'll be beautiful vegetables, and they will, under biodynamic practices, hopefully last a long time as well, be very shelf stable. But they're mostly bred for chefs and for foodies who really love flavor. So there's a couple of different types of squash that we're going to be growing in the garden that I'm personally really excited about. And the last thing I'll mention are those fruit trees coming online. All of the stone fruit, as well as persimmons, figs, all of that has been planted. This is now the third season, and usually after about 3 to 5 years is when you can expect fruit. So I'm really just stoked to try a bunch of these stone fruit, these nectarines and these peaches at their peak freshness, tree ripened. There's nothing better.
Yeah, we can't forget the garlic. We can't wait to try it. We've never grown it before.
This is a hybrid of garlic and leeks from that same Row 7 company. That's just awesome. You harvest it, you can throw it on the grill, give it a little char, and super flavorful.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. We've got some exciting things coming up, and a lot of things too, like those squashes will be kind of a personal size. We're doing a cantaloupe type melon that's a personal size melon. So I think they'll be really good for people to come at the market and go home with some delicious biodynamic produce.
So Troon Vineyard Farm is currently the only Demeter Biodynamic certified and regenerative organic gold certified farm in the world. What does that mean to you and in your daily life working on this farm?
Gives me a lot of pride. I'll just say off the bat, I've had the opportunity to visit some of our accounts, grocery stores down in LA, to speak on panels, and just to be able to say those words, we're the only farm in the world that holds the most high bar, robust certifications, brings me a lot of pride. As Jennifer said earlier, it is a lot of work to maintain these certifications to achieve the highest bar standards for soil health, for animal welfare, for social fairness. It's challenging, but it's extremely rewarding when you're working in community and working with the most passionate team I could be surrounded by, from our winemakers to the folks who manage the vineyard and the animals to the team that is our wine educators in the tasting room. This team at Troon just abounds with passion and energy, and I think our certifications are a reflection of that. So I have a real sense of pride.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's always interesting to me when you do a farm tour, we encounter people who are coming here to taste wine or see the farm, and you start to tell them that, we are in this position where we are the only farm. And sometimes it seems like it's really blowing people's minds. Like, are you really? Is that what you're doing here? So it is an honor to be a part of this team where I think that we can feel like we're doing something. And that's what's rewarding for me, is feel like this doing this job, I'm taking part in something that's positive, that can heal the earth. As biodynamic farming, they say, can heal the earth and we can heal ourselves. So definitely I do feel proud to be a part of it as well.
Yeah, so on our small 100-acre farm here, we have wine grapes, fruits, vegetables, cider apples, hay, livestock. I'm sure I'm missing some other things. Compost, on and on and on. That's an incredible challenge for a farmer. You're bouncing back and forth different crops all the time, but that's got to be stimulating too.
It's extremely stimulating. It's exciting. I love the dynamic nature of every day, every year is a new challenge and a new opportunity to grow and learn, and to learn about what our involvement, our engagement with the land. The more you observe and the more present and attentive you are, the more rewarding it is. And so as challenging as it can be, and I think the nature of not specializing in one or two crops or animal systems can be really challenging, and it can mean that you don't do anything well. But I think Troon is really striving to set the bar and to achieve a really high standard of quality, an ethical standard when it comes to our team and to our animals. And we frankly need help from interns. We need extra hands. We've got the plans. There's no shortage of ideas or opinions, but we need support from interns to come out and join us this season and work alongside us to execute this vision.
Yes, so you have 2 openings, right?
We do.
That's right. We're looking to hire immediately. If we find some really qualified applicants who are excited to join us and relocate to the Applegate Valley, we're ready to hire immediately. And we recommend that you bring a car so that you can enjoy everything that there is to experience here, but it's not a requirement. Again, we've got housing provided. We've got not just employee discounts on the wine, but food from the vegetable garden. We've got a staff bin that's always available to our interns and to our whole staff. And I do invite you to send us an email, send us your resume, your cover letter. If you get it to anybody at Troon, it will make it to me, but my email is garett@troonvineyard.com. My name is spelled Garett, 1 R and 2 T's, at troonvineyard.com. Send me an email, send me your resume, and I'd love to hear from you.
Anything else you'd like to say to close out our intern discussion?
I mean, if you're passionate about this type of work and you want to come be a part of our team, reach out. We're excited to bring some people on board, and we're looking forward to a great season.
Getting my start as an intern more than 12 years ago, I could have never imagined being where I'm at right now and having getting such pleasure out of sharing this information and this knowledge with people publicly or just on a day-to-day basis with the folks who are alongside us, working in the hot sun, getting our hands dirty, and to reflect upon my own journey that started with an opportunity very similar to what we've presented here is really meaningful to think about what I have to share. And we look forward to hearing from you.
So you can find out more information on our website, troonvineyard.com. There's specific information about these intern jobs, harvest intern jobs, and regular hospitality jobs in our tasting room. So we'd love to have you join us at Troon. So thank you, Garett and Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are happy to share this podcast from Troon Vineyard, a Demeter Biodynamic and Regenerative Organic certified winery in Oregon's Applegate Valley. We farm like the world depends on it by growing produce in our gardens and naturally crafting authentic wines. We will be sharing these in-depth podcasts several times a month. To learn more, I encourage you to visit our website at troonvineyard.com and those of the Regenerative Organic Alliance at regenorganic.org and Demeter Biodynamics at demeter-usa.org. Thanks for sharing our voyage to regenerative agriculture with us.